Hello, Digital Dragons, and welcome to another issue of the Dragon Debrief. If you are new this year, just so you know, I do send out a few instructional videos just about essentially what the middle school is covering, as well as a variety of other different things to kind of help make sure that your student is on track, as well as to try to just kind of help clarify on a lot of emails that I've been receiving lately. For this specific issue, we will be covering a lot of back to school tasks that a lot of students will be creating or that homeroom teachers will be reaching out about. So stay tuned and let's get started. So first and foremost, we have our updated school calendar, which I am now seeing has been cut off, but I believe I sent this out to everyone at the very beginning of the school year sometime last week. If you did not receive it, please reach out to your homeroom teacher and they will be able to provide it to you. It'll outline specific days that we have off, as well as asynchronous days, pretty much just all the information that you will need moving forward. Another big question that is oftentimes asked of me, as well as your homeroom teachers, are missing materials as well as laptop issues. So just for future reference, almost any specific question that you may have as a student can almost always be answered essentially by your homeroom teacher. They are always your first go-to when you have a specific question. So make sure you become familiar with your homeroom teacher as well as how to get a hold of them. So if you do have missing materials, and for the majority of you, a lot of those materials will be virtually, so you shouldn't have a lot of materials to begin with unless you're in a specific electives course. But if you do have some missing materials, please feel free to reach out to that homeroom teacher, as they will be your first point of contact. They can also essentially track specific orders, especially if you're still waiting on a new laptop, to tell you when that should arrive or essentially where it currently is in the process of it being shipped. The next component that I oftentimes get a lot of questions about are laptop issues. So I know that this is a big thing that you should always reach out to your homeroom teacher first, kind of just let them know specifically what's going on. Sometimes it's as easy as clearing your caches and cookies, or even as easy as just restarting your computer. But again, your homeroom teacher is always the first point of contact. Next, if you definitely just need to get a hold of somebody right away, we have our student IT number that oftentimes deal a lot of times with these laptop issues. And that number, as well as this PowerPoint, will be provided to you in the email I send out to all students. But that number is located there, as well as a link to submit for a help desk ticket. Next, go ahead and moving on. Middle school administrator. So who do I reach out to with questions/concerns? For all of you that don't know, my name is Mr. Payne, and I am your middle school principal over here at good old Indiana Gateway Digital Academy, home of the Digital Dragons. So if there is definitely something major that you really need to get a hold of me of, and you don't feel like your homeroom teacher can help assist you in the process, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. My email is listed here. When it comes to scheduling, as well as just maybe needing specific counseling aspects of a variety of different things, we also have 2 middle school counselors now. We have Mrs. Schmidt, who was with us last year, and she will actually be focusing more on 8th grade. But then we also just hired Mrs. Andrus. And Mrs. Andrus is actually going to be focusing more on 6th and 7th grade. So if you do have requests linked to possibly schedule changes, or again, needing some type of counseling, please reach out to them and they will be able to assist you. We also have 2 amazing instructional coaches on our staff this year. We have Mrs. Dion, who was with us last year and is actually one of our 8th grade science teachers. But she will help assist teachers as well as students a lot this year, so you may be seeing her name pop up. And we also have Mrs. Clifton, who is also our 6th grade English teacher, but was essentially promoted to this role to kind of, again, help not only you as students, but also help our teachers out with a lot of the tasks that they have to perform as well. I will also be attaching the middle school staff directory. In the next Dragon Debrief, I will kind of go over all of our staff, who they are, as well as how to get a hold of them. But in case you need to get a hold of somebody right away, again, this link to the PowerPoint and everything will be available in the email I send out, but it is located right there as well. Another big thing that I've gotten a lot of questions about is the K12 zone. So for those of you that aren't familiar, the K12 zone is kind of a virtual reality aspect to I guess to a certain extent of how students can kind of build on their socialization. So I know a lot of times whenever we are in this type of virtual settings, students don't always get to collaborate or communicate as much as they generally would. So this is kind of a way for them to, talk with one another as well as just build those relationships that they may be missing. And so it has actually already opened up. It was opened up on the first day of school. The timeline for when this is open is generally every day, 1 to 4. Now, keep in mind, if you do have a class scheduled during this time, you cannot be in the zone when you have a class scheduled. However, if there's a specific day during this time frame that you don't have a class scheduled, you are more than welcome to jump in there, start meeting some of your peers, and just starting to build those connections, okay? The link to that is also in this document that you are more than welcome to join in, as well as we also have our student discipline policy linked to the K12 zone, which you are more than welcome to review as well. When it comes to scheduling updates, I did send an email out on, I believe, July 29th, how counselors are working diligently on making sure that all schedules are up to date. I know the majority of them were fixed on the first day of school. However, we are getting a lot of requests for essentially elective changes as well as flex applications. Our counselors are still working through those. But if you have not filled out or completed a schedule form, please do so prior to the end of the day on this Friday, August 9th, as that will be the last day that we will accept applications for that. And again, if you have any specific questions, please feel free to email Mrs. Schmidt, your 8th grade counselor, as well as Mrs. Andrus, your 6th and 7th grade counselor. And lastly, big reminders, as you probably have already guessed in a lot of your homeroom courses so far, you have been dealing with a lot of these various different things that we like to call our strong start. It's kind of ways for us to make sure that you are getting engaged in the learning process, as well as that you are fully aware of just how everything works. And so the first one is definitely going to center around our STAR 360. So STAR 360 is kind of a benchmark tool. It's a way for us to kind of determine where you are academically at the beginning of the year, at the middle of the year, and then at the end of the year. So every student will be required to take this 3 times throughout the course of the year. And I know a lot of times those homeroom teachers are trying to make sure everybody gets that taken before the testing window closes. So if you have not done that yet, please, again, reach out to that homeroom teacher and they will help assist you. The next one is our Strong Start calls. So you may have noticed that a lot of your homeroom teachers have been reaching out via phone to kind of make sure that you are on track to see if they can answer any questions you may have. So if you have not talked with your homeroom teacher yet, please be on the lookout for their phone call, or make sure you link up with them in a homeroom to kind of let them show you or guide you through the process of how everything works, as well as just answer any questions you may have. The next one is the IOL completion. So this is essentially a course that we provide to all students. And it essentially just shows students how our system works, as well as just the basic fundamentals of everything. Now, I will say this course you can generally get through in about 5 minutes. However, we do have a time limit of 30 minutes in order for you to complete the course itself. So if you have not done that, if you have not completed this, please make sure to reach out to that homeroom teacher and they can help assist you in this